Hello everyone. Now that the software and the interfaces are installed and we know the basics, let's get our hands dirty with Git. Now, what you need to do is just to be organized. We'll first create a folder wherein this folder will be a bucket wherein we will keep all our project folders. Okay. So first we'll create a folder and then we'll create some folder for our individual projects. Then I will give you an intro of the commands, the common commands used in Git, and then we'll do our first commit. Okay, with this we are sealed with the first step of Git. Let's get started. Creating a project folder. So folder, like you all know, can be created from your mouse and your GUI, wherein you just right click and open the folder, or you can create a folder from VSC, which I've already shown in the installation of VSC folder, VSC software, or you can do through CMD. Again, I have shown you all how does the mkdir work and the CD workflow for CD works. What we'll be doing is we'll be creating an external folder called projects or Git projects, and then we'll create some smaller folders like project A, B, C, and D, and we'll start working with we will initialize the project A and start working with this, and we'll do our first commit. To get started, I'll open my Git bash. Okay, and I'll be creating folder from command line. So mk or let me go to my folder where I create my projects. So like I said, you can use the arrow commands on your keyboard to traverse to previous commands. So I'll do cd part of my project. So I've gone into my folder called YT projects where I will. So let me create a directory called git projects where I will keep all my folders of my projects where I need the version control. So in Git projects, I will just enter this particular folder, and I will create say I want to start a few more projects. So I'll say project A, project B. I think that will be enough. We'll create two folders, and we are done with that. So next what we'll do is we'll initialize it. Okay, so let's enter into this particular project A, and to initialize Git, once I do this, the Git will start tracking whatever happens in project A folder. So before that, let me try. Okay, before that, let me just run the command git log. So what it says not a Git repository. I have not initialized it. So why are you asking me the log? Okay. So this is a very nice command, git log. You will be using it a lot. So we will go ahead and initialize now. Say git init, and there you go. Initialize an empty Git repository in this path. As you see, a .git folder is being created, and this is what will manage everything. So let's see what's in this folder. So let's get inside cd, let's see the. Okay, I tried to click on dir and I didn't find any. So where's .git? Okay, that's actually a hidden folder, so you'll have to use the command, and yes, we see the .git folder. Once, is this a file or folder? So let's try entering into it. So .cd .git, and you see, yes, it's a folder. We entered there, and then we'll see what's inside this folder. And you see there are so many folders that I've created here. So what happens is each one has its own objective, and we can get through this in detail later, what does each contain in the later part of the Git. So let's physically go and see about this folder, the YT project folder, wherein we created the Git folder, and then we created project A and project B, of which we can see the hidden .git folder, which has so many subfolders. Okay, so this is all we did now. Let's check what does git logs has to say. Your current branch master doesn't have any commits. Yes, we have not committed anything. We are here to do our first commit. So let's go ahead. We are finished with the initializing of the Git. Okay, we are done with this. Next, before we go and do our first commit, what is commit? And I'll give you an introduction to the commands. If you have gone through my first video, when I explained the version control tool, this was the image, right? But I didn't give these names. So these are the commands that I used. When you add into the staging area, it is called git, and when the files from the staging area are ready to be committed, I mean you are sure we finished a particular bit or a particular set which can be submitted, you say commit, and that gets into this git registry, and meaning the git will start recording it now. Okay, anything to you do with it, bring it back, you bring it ahead, it will know it, it will record it. From this, you want to save it into cloud, into a git remote git repository, and for us here it is GitHub. You could use any. It is a push, and say you need the files that are in the git repo, and you will be using this regularly. You would use a git pull. There's something called as git fetch, wherein it comes at this point. You will have to either use this or that, and each have their own objectives, which we will cover in the individual videos. Okay, so let's just go through this. Wise add use, moving the new changes into the staging area. The commit means moving the files into the local repo. Push means upload the remote from to the remote repo, and pull means download the changes from the remote repo to our local machine. Okay, so that is about the intro to the commands, and next we will get into the our first commit. Now we are here. What does first commit would mean is we would need to create a file here, and then we first add it, and then we will commit it. Okay, so let me just pull up my git bash. So since you guys are in this folder, if you're following with me, I have come back to this folder. So just say dot dot, and we have come down from .git folder to project A. So now let's create a file here, echo my first any. This is the comment that you would be giving into this file. Let's say my file one .txt. So we are hoping the file is created. So let's say the dir, and our file is created. Now a file is just created, we have not added it. So let's use the add command. So one way to specifically send file is git add and mention the file name. So my file name is myfile1.txt. And now that we are added, now we can go ahead and commit it. So this is a good time to do a git log. So he says no, master branch doesn't have any commits. So there's one more command called get status, which will give the status of our commits. So it says you are on the master branch. Master is nothing but the main. Basically, if you have not moved anywhere else into another branch, you are in the master branch. And it says no commit yet, but the changes that are pending to be committed are this file. Okay, say you don't want this file, just get it, remove it from there using this command. I don't want to remove that. I want to commit it. So what would I do? So I would say git commit minus m means the message, and the message is my first commit message. And it says, yeah, the git has committed it, and one file has a change. Now let's again observe the git status. It says you are still on the master branch. Now you have nothing to commit, and working tree is clean. About this working tree is clean, we will be discussing later. Now let's go and see what the git log has to say. It says, okay, you had one commit, and this is the message I had given with that. So always be mindful, this is not how you give a message. That message would convey you what was done. Okay, it should keep the details of that. So when we have to be very mindful while giving the message. So if you come back to my notes, we have completed git add in this way. We have used git status. We have used git commit in this way. Now let's use this and this. Okay. Let me add git log as well, because we have used that as well. Okay. Okay, so let's see the other options, that is git add dot or and just git commit. So let me quickly add two files, create two files, mkdir. No, let me quickly create the two files, that is echo one file 2.txt. Yeah, I have three files, of which my file has been committed. Now let's see what happens when we say git add space dot. So both the files have got added, and now we can go for a commit, say git commit, and I'm not putting minus m message now. What will happen is your editor will open up. Okay, in case you have gone to my video of installation of the kit, if we had changed our default editor to VSC, and that's why VSC has been opened. If you have kept Vim, that is what would come. Okay, say adding file 2 and 3, and let me close it and save, and that would be the message that will be used. Okay, and the commit message. So let's go into git log. So it says in git log, first the person had one commit, who has done it, text everybody had made it, and the second commit was, and that was the message, and then the second was this. So it gives a detailed description. Let's see git status. It says you are on the master branch and you have nothing to commit. Okay. So in case you had not configured the VSC during the installation of Git, and it is loading Vim, and you would want to use VSC, these are the steps that you do. One is just like we said, git config username. You can also do it for the code editor. Just run this on your git bash, and your code editor will be set. Before doing this, ensure that the VSC understands what code means. For that, what you will have to do is just do Ctrl Shift P, and you will have installed code command in path. Just go to that. Okay, your default editor would be VSC. Now that we have done this, there is a git file that has been git config file that is created. Basically, whatever you are doing, setting up, will be sitting on this file. Where does this file reside? This is the official documentation. You can just open this up, okay, and you can read this. So what is git config? Git config command is a convenience function that is used to set the git configuration values on a global or a local project level. Okay, so how do you know? So in case it depends on what you mentioned, git config. Here it's config global, and we had used global even for the username and the email. So it depends on whether you select local, global, or a system. So if you had said global, it would come in this path, git user. So let me check if it did come in my path as well. Okay, yeah, this is my user path. Yeah, this is my user path, and I do see my .git config file that was created. Okay, git config file. If you set system, this would be a different path, and local, it would be a different path. So let's do one thing. Let's just, if I could open that particular folder. So in my user path, I did find the git config. So let me open this on my BSC, and you will see these are what we had set, right? Okay, we are done with that. So please do try and let me know if you all have any doubts. That is all I had for today's video. Thank you.